Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the second episode of Lorenzo doing space planting flags with Lorenzo. That's the series we're shooting today. Today is my day off and I'm going to be spending most of the day making videos. It's been a while since the last one. It's because I've had my girlfriend over from Holland, and as you might imagine, we did not spend most of our time making space videos. We did not. So now she's gone again and I can return to my true passion of making space and StarCraft videos. As I said, it's been a while, it's been a week or two since the last one I set the channel, but now hopefully I can return to my planned Monday, Wednesday, Friday release schedule. So, on to business, looking at this space missile here. It's reminiscent of the last one, the one that failed horribly, broke up in the atmosphere and barely landed back on Kerbin, planting a flag there. This one has more boosters, and the booster engines, the ones on the bottom here, have been upgraded to mainsail engines. They're more than twice as powerful as the smaller Skipper engine, which has now replaced the big engine in the central stage, but they're less efficient as well. So there's 4 of them, they're more powerful, and the Skipper one is tacked onto the Spaceborne stage, because in space we want efficiency, and when getting off the pad we want power. This is because we need to cut through the atmosphere and fight gravity. If you want to learn more about these concepts, you can watch my Lessons of Space video. Here though, we are planning to make great conquests and plant flags on bodies. As I explained in the previous video, this whole bit is going to min-miss. This small bit on the top is going to detach there and land on it, and then the big thing is going to hop past the moon. So, enough talk about planning, let's see how it works out, and I'm going to launch this baby. 3, 2, 1, lift off. So there it goes up quite a bit faster than the last time, and what's happening, there's 4 side boosters here. 2 of them are being drained first, and when they're done, they'll be jettisoned of course, and the rocket will continue upwards, shedding the weight of the engines, because these engines, while powerful, are very heavy. Now, something that's been going on the past year in the real world, a company called SpaceX has been developing a rocket, and theirs looked quite a bit more sleek than this one, but they've been developing rockets. Oh shit, something happened. I think the camera did something wrong. No, nothing is happening, we're still going. Anyway, the SpaceX thing, it's making rockets where the spanned stages can fly back to Earth on their own. So 2 are done, I'm going to jettison them. They have not been jettisoned. Something is definitely up. Maybe the connection has broken and this lower stage is now fighting, is now just out of control. Perhaps. Let's see when the second one runs out, if we can jettison that. Because the camera shifted upward a little bit, which means the center is now this, and this lower rocket bit is just firing out of control. This means I cannot control it, and yes, the steering controls are quite unresponsive. So far we're still pointed up, so that could be worse, but we haven't detached the dead weight now. It's just dragging us down, and as you can see, we're going in a little bit of a spiral, which is not the most efficient descent trajectory as you might imagine. So hopefully things will come back under control when these boosters run out. The 2 of them are still firing, and the 3 of them are still firing, but I'm afraid that the central stack is also out of control. That would make things very difficult indeed. For now, let's just see where we end up. We're at 20 kilometers, we are still going up, but we're not getting anywhere near a proper orbit. We're just going in a circle above the launch pad. This is not looking good. Again, veering off course now. Something might have happened, as we have no telemetry from the lower bit of the rocket. It has, I think it has, yes, it counts as debris. Oh dear, my control is not doing anything. The rocket has snapped in half here, but because the engine is still on, it's being pushed on, it's not releasing. So I'm going to leave it like this. The engine is almost burned out, I think. I can't see nothing about this. Oh, we're pointing down now. That's so not a good way to point. This is pointing the wrong way. This engine has to run out, and then I can try and separate from this booster stack. But with it pointing down, I don't think we're going to be going up fast enough. We're rapidly losing speed. This is basically just going in the wrong direction. We're not even out of the atmosphere yet. So no, there's no way these small tiny engines can get away from this big stack, and if I do light them, we will be in for a crash. So please, 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 burn out, burn out, burn out. It has some fuel left. As soon as the fuel in these central tanks burns out, this rocket will stop, and we can separate it here and see if we can salvage this mission at all. This is not going well, this space program with the planting flags. are not going to get any flags planted. Perhaps we can get to Minmus, and if we look at the map, we see Minmus is quite a bit farther out than the moon. So you might be wondering, why am I going to Minmus first and then the moon? Because even though it's farther out, it will require slightly more rocket fuel to get there, but not a lot, because once you're out of the most rocket fuel is spent getting into orbit, getting into space in the first place. And Minmus is quite a lot smaller than the moon, so landing on it takes a lot lower amount of fuel than landing on, say, the moon and taking off from it the same. So if we can get into space, and if we get this raging rocket under control, Jesus, please burn out the fuel. This is getting ridiculous. Pointing back to the ground again. We are falling again. This is not going to work out. I'm going to try and separate it. Here we go. No, you see, this is doing nothing. Doing nothing. Doing nothing. Can shut these engines down. Why is it doing nothing? Oh, the struts are still attached. Oh dear, this is the most horrible mission ever. What happened? This is the mission log. You can see what happened. The fuel, the linkage between the fuel. Oh shit. It snapped just above the engine here. There's a central engine hidden here. It snapped here, which means this engine is not doing anything. This decoupler doesn't work anymore, and we really only have these three tiny engines to get it to go off the stack, which is still pushing firmly against it with the big rocket. As you can imagine, that is not going to work out. We're at 20 kilometers, so all my talk of going to Minmus, going to the moon, it's not going to be happening. In fact, these guys are going to be happy if they survive at all. So we're going to be trying and doing that. Look, we're starting to burn. We're going to decouple everything. Ah, yeah, right. This is the escape vehicle. This worked. Get out of there. Get out of there. Brake, 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 brake. It's pointing upwards. It's pointing upwards. It's pointing upwards. Look, the stack, the doomed stack, it's separated. But much good did that to us. It did not. Now it's separated and it's going to hit the ground. And we are rapidly burning our... This fuel was to be used to land on the moon. But that's not going to happen, obviously. We are going to ditch the Minmus stage again. Cut the engines. Steer a bit. Get away from that. Losing that weight. There we go. And... now we have no landing gear or anything on this, so we are again going to parachute back down to safety. Decoupling and deploying the parachutes. So Matlorf will survive. We have a zero, the physical warp will work. We have a 0 casualty rate so far in the program, which I suppose is good, but we have not been planting any flags. And this one, well, there's the bits crashing. I'm accelerating time now, because watching a parachute fall isn't very fun. So I think we're close to... yes, we didn't go very far at all. We traveled about 5 kilometers. And let me accelerate time until we're on the ground, and we will be rapidly trying this again. Yeah, we don't need to go see it hit the ground. So, click on to the next video where we'll be trying this again with more reinforcing struts and maybe a dab of throttle control. This was Lorenzo, and hope to see you in the next video where we might be successful in planting a flag. Goodbye. See you.